Okay, so hello everyone. This lecture is basically to provide some sort of familiarity to you guys for the unit level data sets, big data sets like that of NFHS. So the whole idea for this class. Okay, so I'll tell you. So how we are going to proceed is I'll give you a theoretical understanding, a theoretical background, and going through all the concepts that are there in the survey data set and working with the data, followed by a quick, a short Stata version. I mean, I'll give you a small example on how you can work with Stata on the same. Okay, so sample survey data sets like that of NSS, NFHS, these are large scale unit level survey done across India, designed in such a way to procure relevant indicators, national statistics basically for policy and research purposes. One of the biggest organization in India conducting the same is for NSS, which is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Another one is NFHS. So yeah, this is conducted by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, coordinated by IIPS, International Institute of Population Sciences, funded by USAID, UNICEF. This basically comes under the umbrella body of Demographic and Health Surveys. So, what is DHS? Just a quick outline. DHS is basically a project by international organization which helps developing countries in assisting on how to collect information, data, preparing reports. So it basically gives an outline, a proper roadmap on how the data needs to be collected on the sample design, even the questionnaire and preparing the report. So how it helps is inter-country comparisons across the developing countries. So when you know that the data is available in the same format, it gets easier for you, for research purposes. So far, for the NFHS data set, there have been four rounds starting from 1992, 93, 98, 99, 2005, 6, and the latest being 2015, which is NFHS 4. So, the speciality of this particular survey data set is that it offers a wide range of indicators and it gets better with every round. So, if you see, like a lot of indicators in the recent rounds, they are not there in the previous round whatsoever. The advantage being that you get a more coverage. So, for instance, in NFHS 4 2015-16, there are questions related to malaria prevention, abortion. So, I think we don't have any unit level data set targeting questions on abortion, on knowing about the mindset. So I think that is a pretty good thing about NFHS 4, NFHS particularly. Yeah, NFHS 4 even offers district level data set. I mean, you can get information on districts within the states. So it's quite extensive in that sort. What are the objectives? Okay, so the objective of this particular data set is to provide you estimates on fertility, family planning, infant and child mortality, maternal health, healthcare utilization. I think there's one round of NSS which provides you data on healthcare consumption, but no such data set is available which provides such extensive information specifically on health and family welfare. So I think all these estimates on maternal mortality, on child health, these are derived from NFHS dataset only, the national estimates. Okay, so in order to understand any particular data set, getting hold of any of the data set, I think it's very important to have some kind of idea on its sampling design. I mean, how the whole sample is being taken. So I'll just give you a short brief about all these terminologies and then guide you through the sampling design of NFHS. So the first step is the sampling frame. So there has to be a sampling frame which basically covers the entire population India, and this frame basically provides you a complete list of clusters and PSUs. So what are clusters? They are villages in rural areas, and in urban areas they are city blocks. Okay, so what you have is you have a sampling frame which have a list of these clusters. The second step being stratifying these clusters on the basis of say rural and urban areas. So you group further homogeneous subgroups into like rural and urban areas. The third step being identifying the right sample size. So sample size needs to be there. I mean, you need to be conscious about the sample size because you need a representative sample. So I think DHS helps you with all of this. DHS only guides you with the adequate sample size. So for India, it is 6 lakhs households, comprising of ever married women of age 15 to 49 years, men 15 to 54 years, covering urban and rural regions of all 29 states, 7 UTs, and 640 districts for NFHS 4. So DHS or the NFHS is basically a two-stage sample or design. So again, the first step is to stratify the entire sample frame into the geographical areas, as in the rural, urban, and then you select the clusters from each strata, uh, followed by preparing a list of all the household number of households in that cluster, sorry, in that strata, and then you randomly choose the households to be interviewed. This is basically an example. So let's assume that this is a hypothetical region. Let's say this is one of the Indian states. So these 10 numbers, if you can see, these 10 regions are basically 10 clusters in your sampling frame. So this whole is your sampling frame. You have 10 clusters in it, and we have the number of households in each cluster. Second step, as I told you, is stratification. So let's say red is rural, blue is urban. So of these 10 clusters, we have stratified rural and urban areas separately. And for then we'll just select the household and select, yeah, and do the interview thing. So this is the whole sampling procedure, sample design procedure. In case of NFHS, one additional thing is there, which is considering the diverse nature of India's population. So another sub stratification is done here in order to include SC and ST population, because we need proper representation of all the marginalized sections of the population. So another step is there. And yeah, I think for so to be specific, there is for NFHS 4, 6,01,509 households were interviewed. Yeah. So moving forward, this step, so from here I tell you how you're supposed to work with the data. So I think one advantage or one benefit that the NFHS dataset offers us is that it is very user friendly. It is like very convenient to use. So like one of you guys told me that you have attended the NSS lecture, and there were steps like extraction, and then you have to merge data sets. So I think the best part about NFHS dataset is that you don't have to extract anything. The data is available in the ready to use format, and you won't probably need any sort of merging. I haven't felt the need to merge any of the data set because you have separate files for separate domains, I would say, separate. So let's say you want to work with women or men or say children even. So you have separate files for those. So you have a separate file for women, a separate file for men, and so on. So I think that is the best part about the NFHS data set. And hence, once you have your hypothesis with you, you have done your literature review, you know your question. All you need to do is just think that just find maybe that which survey or which data file you need to use for your question. So step one covers that. You need to have your literature review, your hypothesis ready, and once you know which target group you're focusing on, you can select the survey, the question, the data set. The next step is about reviewing questionnaires. So I think I took the class last year also, and a lot of students, I mean, a lot of MA people came to me afterwards, facing problem which they wouldn't have faced had they reviewed the questionnaire properly. So even in my early days when I was starting working with the data, I committed the same mistake that I would just go find the question, find the variables. I'll do my literature review. I'll find the variables and start looking for it, like using control and F. But that is really a wrong approach. So I would really suggest you guys to spend 1 extra hour and go through your questionnaire. So if you want to work with women data, say, then you should definitely go through the women questionnaire, because at times what happens is, because the data is coded and the variable, sometimes the variable names or the description that is available in the data won't help you. So for that quiz questionnaire, reading the questionnaire, because the order in which the variables are given in your data file, it is the same order of the questions in the questionnaire. So you a lot of clarity will be you will have a lot of clarity if you are once thorough with the questionnaire. The third step is knowing your variables. There are certain things that are not given in the questionnaire. I mean, you are trying to know your variable, know variable in the data set, but you can't really. So let's say you can't really get enough information in the questionnaire, then Recode file comes to your rescue. So the third important document is your Recode file. This file is basically provided by DHS, and it has all the data variable descriptions. So I'll show each of these things to you. Okay, so the next step is data cleaning. So the raw data which is provided by the NFHS, of course, you need to mold that data. You need to change that data in order to bring it to use. So step four is data cleaning, and lastly, sample weights. In order to get your estimates, the sample estimates corresponding to the population statistics, you need to use sample weights. So these total are so we have total 5 steps, and I think you are done with the data, working with the data. Okay, so in total we have 4 schedules in the NFHS dataset, 4 questionnaires: household, women, man, and biomarker. So what happens is when the interviewer visits the household, in the household questionnaire, he'll have questions which are common to the household and taking information about each member of the household. But then, since a lot variety is covered, we need indicators on maternal mortality and whatnot. So for that, within each household, one woman is selected for the women's questionnaire, and similarly, one man is selected for the man's questionnaire. Hence, we have like 4 separate questionnaires in the NFHS dataset. So, the household questionnaire will have a range of questions from socio-economic characteristics of the household to having insurance, demographics, healthcare utilization, and so on, basically common to the households. So the next is man and women schedule. Here you'll have a whole range of information or questions asked on, say, contraception, fertility preferences, nutrition, sexual behavior, and same for the women. At times the questions are even based on the perception and how people perceive conceptions, contraception, sorry, and how what are their. So here we have one of the dimension on attitudes. So I think that is the need to survey a man and a woman separately. For children, the questions related to children health, and children's immunization, these are included in the women's schedules. Lastly, this biomarker schedule, which covers variables on height, weight, hemoglobin level, blood pressure, and so on. Okay, having gone through the questionnaire, third step is data cleaning. So okay, so for cleaning your data, the first step is to read your variable, knowing how to read your variable. So you will use commands like codebook, tab, and sum. If you have worked with Stata before, you guys know that you can always get a mean statistic for your variable and so on. So having that information with you really helps you knowing your variable. Once you know your variable, you've seen all the statistics related to your variable. Then in the NFHS dataset there are certain special values which needs to be considered and accounted for. So, for example, when an interviewer is questioning the individual and the person does not feel like answering to for that particular response, there's a special code value that is given in the data. I'll show that all. So for those special values, you need to account for those values, and that is where the role of data cleaning comes into the picture. I think this is the only drawback I would say in the NFHS dataset. NSS does not require such sort of data cleaning which NFHS requires. So you really need to consider these special values, this don't know, didn't answer, inconsistent response, and so on. And for that, you will be needing variables like commands like generate, replace, and recode command. Okay, so the last thing was working with the weights. So what exactly is a weight? Weight is and so the technical definition is that it's a inflation factor which is applied to each case in tabulations, which in relation with the overall probability of selection and interview for each case in a sample. In very easy and practice terms, so a number is multiplied by each case. So if you're dealing with the women data, so for each individual, for each entry, a number is multiplied with that entry to either weight up or weight down that observation if under or oversampling was applied. I won't really go much into under and oversampling here because it's a whole other thing. So just consider that you have a variable wherein that particular value gets multiplied in order to make your sample correspond to your population. So if a woman in the survey has a normalized weight of 1.2, then it means she's representing 1.2 women in the total population. Okay, so yeah, so weight is something that is must to be included in any statistical analysis, tabulations, even your regressions. Okay, so like I told you guys that we have different schedules and different members in the family are interviewed. So the weight variable is therefore different for each file. So these are the names of data file that are there in the NFHS dataset: household file, household member file, women, children, this HRPR. These are the names of the data file. And for each data file, you have a different weight variable. So for household, it's the same. It's HV005. For women, it's V05 and so on. So, is there any specific doubt? I mean, I hope I am able to give you a gist of how things are going to be, like just a introduction sort of thing. If that is clear, then we can work with this data now. One of you need to speak. Should I proceed further?
Yes, proceed further.
Okay, so this is a small example. So remember the first step was literature review and having your question ready. So I am trying to basically investigate the relationship between income and nutrition. So so for nutrition, I have taken a proxy variable which is child's anthropometric indicators. Okay, here I'm talking about children, income and nutrition for children. So for that, the dependent variable that I'm taking is child's anthropometric indicators. So what are these indicators? So there are three basically. I'll show you with one. So a child is said to be stunted if its height to age. So if if its height is shorter as per its age, right? So for that, I'm going to work with HAZ scores. So what is HAZ scores? We have height to age ratio, and then there are Z scores calculated. Luckily, it's as per the WHO standards, and there is a separate variable on that. So I won't need much of the calculation here. So NFHS dataset has this particular variable, which is HAZ score, height to age Z score, and okay, so I'll show you. So this is my child's data, the KR file. Okay, so you'll see. So you have data files in these folders, and I am going to use KR file because that is the child's data file. Okay, so since I require the HAZ variable, I'll type here say height. So you can see there are many variables with the name or with the mention of height and age, right? So that is where the need of Recode file comes. So this is the Recode file. This has a description of all the variables. Now I need height. I'll specifically type HAZ. So if you can see, I got my Z score variable. Here is one variable which is V444, but this comes under maternal anthropometry. So this is not the variable that is needed. Yeah, here children height, weight, hemoglobin variables, right? So we need height to age Z score as per the WHO standards. So I think we have HC70, which is height for age standard variation deviation according to WHO. There was another variable named H. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, we don't have HC. Let's find HW in the recode file. If you can read here, the height and weight tables contain information relating to children born in the period of 3 to 5 years. So this is my required variable. I need children's information. Children, as defined by NFHS, it's all children below the age 5 years. So that the description clearly says. And I need height to age standard deviation, which, Yeah, I think this height for age standard deviation according to WHO. Let's check if that HW70 is there. Yeah. So we have found our required variable. Now, since now we need to read more on the variable that is given here. So it says that the measures are presented with two implied decimal places. So to produce the actual measure, divide the variable by 100. So this is where the Recode file is really important, because if you don't know that the variable is, like, you need to divide the variable, and if you're not aware of it, you'll get probably wrong estimates. So the first step is to create a variable by dividing this by 100 as the Recode file suggested. So this is HAZ, height to age Z score. Okay, so now is the step for data cleaning. The commands that were there for the data cleaning were codebook tab sum, right? So what codebook does it provides you a overall picture of your variable. I'll take HAZ. If you can see, this is my variable. This variable which I've just divided by 100. So it has the value in the range of -600 to 9999. Right? This does not seem like a correct value. So when you'll go back to the Recode file, it mentions here that if either the weight or the height of the child is missing, then all of the above measures are set to the missing code of 9999 or 9999 and so on. So you need to account for these codes. So just imagine, like, if you don't account for these particular values, you'll get wrong estimates. Probably you won't be able to understand, like, why is this happening. So uh, so what I'll do is I'll mark all these codes as missing values in my data. So for that, what I can do is I can use the replace command. I've already generated a variable HAZ here. Now I know that the missing values are, of course, higher than 9. Yeah. So these has to be 99. Sorry, when I've divided it by 100, the missing value is supposed to be higher than 99. So let's say I'm putting the if condition here, that replace my variable with dot if the variable has greater values than 90. Now if I see my variable, yeah, so it has 10,249 missing values which I've just generated, and the range is -6 to 6. So this is my cleaned variable. This is how you need to clean the data. Okay, in order to, so I need a dependent variable, a categorical dependent variable. So what I exactly require is that I'll put so if a child is stunted, I want to give it a value 1, and if it is not, I want to give it a value 0. So I need a categorical variables, and for that I'll follow these steps. Okay. So this generate standard equals to 1 if HZ is less than equal to -2 standard deviation. This is the definition that is being provided by WHO, and this I got to know using my literature survey. if you can see now, my categorical variable is created, and these are the values. So I think so. This is the sample statistic. This is not what I need. I'll go on to that later. Okay. So once my dependent variable is created, let's look at independent variable. So let's see. Let's assume that one of the variable affecting a child's growth, affecting his probability, or affecting that he'll be stunted is say sanitation or the hygiene in the household. And for that, I want to know about the toilet facility. So V116 is my variable. Follow the same step. Codebook V116. So now if you can see here, the codes are in the range of 11 to 99, and I really don't know, like looking at the data you cannot basically understand or that what code refers to what. So now is the need, so this takes us to the questionnaire. You can even visit the Recode file, but I don't think it will provide you with the codes. Yeah. So V116 is what type of toilet facility in the household. The code file does not provide you the information with the codes. So I'll go through the questionnaire. Okay, so here, since the type of toilet facility is basically a household related question, so I'll go to the household questionnaire. And here I was, yeah. So if you can see, we have all the codes here, 11 to 99, and so 11 means that the type of these are basically options for the type of toilet facilities. So the variable has codes for these particular options. Now, a lot of times, including the entire variable in your analysis is not of much help. So what you need to do is you need to change this variable, and I'll use the command recode for that. So suppose I want to know that the household has a toilet facility or not. So for that I only need two options. So what I'm going to do is I'll code these particular variables, I think till 41. Yeah, 11 to 41 I'll code in one category, and the rest would be a no for having a toilet. Okay. So, so Recode. So what Recode actually will do is that, okay, I'll show you. Recode variable name 11 to 41. So what I've done is I'm recoding this variable, existing variable, such that all the values from 11, all the codes that are there in the variable from 11 to 41 will be coded as 1. And I've used embedded code, that is yes. And for all the values from 42 to the maximum value that is there in the variable will be 0. And I'm generating a new variable, that is toilet. So if you can see, I have created a new variable from my existing variable, and this is how the whole data cleaning is done. I think generate, replace, and recode command is all what you'll need to clean the data. So okay. So now, since my question was, I'm trying to investigate the relationship between income and nutrition. The main variable is my income. The and toilet and other variables are basically so the main interest variable is wealth here, income here, and for income, the proxy that the NFHS data set gives is wealth index. So here you can see that there are two variables for wealth, and I'll check both of these variables. If you can see that V190 is basically a categorical variable having five values, and V191 is more of a continuous variable. So V190 is basically created for V191 only, and based on your needs, you can use either. I will use this V190, the categorical variable, because it's easier to interpret. You can, if you want, if your purpose allows, you can create as many categories from this variable and do the needful. Yeah, so the last step is about weights. So let's check my weight variable. So here it's written national women's weight. Since I told you that the child's questions are answered by women only, so the women weight will apply here. Let's check this variable. So this is the range of the variable. Let's so of course the weight variable won't be there in the questionnaire file, so you'll have to look for that in the recode file. Our variable name was V005. Yeah, I think this is for mother only. Hmm. So here it says that the sample weight is an 8-digit variable with 6 implied decimal places. So again, the data requires dividing by what, how much? 10 lakh, I'd say. So what I'll do is I'll generate a new variable. It says 6 implied decimal places. And yeah, I've created my weight variable. Now for any tabulation or any statistical analysis you'll just put the weight to it. How you'll do it, let's say, so I have my dependent variable ready, I have the categorical variable stunted, and let's say I want to check that what is the percentage of stunted, how many stunted children's are there in say scheduled caste category or across the social categories. So how am I gonna do it? Hmm. I think we have caste variable here. Let's see that which one of these is the required variable. Yeah, so as you can see, my interest variable here is S118. What is 4 and 8 here? So SC, ST, OBC is here. I'm not sure of 4 and 8 here, 489. So again, I think I need to look at the recode file. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, 4 is none of them. and 8 is don't know, and I believe 9 is the others. I don't know why it's not mentioned here. So yeah, so I need to account for 4 and 8 here. Again, the same step. Here I want only 4 and 8 coded values as missing. So 4 comma 8 equals to dot and generate a new variable. Now if I do the tab, yeah. So now I have my required categories: SC, ST, OBC, and general. So if I do an unweighted tabulation, I'll get the results like this. So these are frequencies. Okay. Of course, our national statistics cannot be this many, so I need to put weight, and you can see I am putting frequency weight here. Okay, so another thing about the weights, when you are calculating the frequency weight, as in you want to know the frequency of any particular variable, you need to have weights in the form of non-integer values. So currently my weight has integer values, right? So mm, I need to round these up. Wait, I think I've committed some mistake. Yeah. So if you can see the so this is the unweighted tabulation. It says that for ST category, 40% of the 40% of its children are what stunted, while when it's a weighted tabulation, it says that 43% are stunted. So that is the difference that comes when you are using weight and when you are not using weight. So I think that's it. Krishna sir is not here. Okay, so guys, I think that's it for the class. Do you guys have any query?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to ask. So when there was the code 999, no, and you replaced it by missing observation,
yeah, yeah.
what would be the difference if we deleted that observation entirely?
But I think you're saying that you want to. Okay, I'll tell you what can be the problem. So let's say for one particular response, the code is 9999. Okay, this is for one particular variable. Let's say it was for what. Mm, what variable? Acha, haan, let's say it was for the variable height. So we interviewed a mother asking for height of the children, and the mother didn't know about the height. Okay, so the code was 9999 there. But for the same observation, for the same individual, there will be other questions where you'll have responses, right? So if you delete the whole observation, you won't be able to access for other information. Are you getting me?
Yes, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
like, if there is an observation missing, that is not a problem when you run a regression or something.
Yeah, for one particular question, so that can be there. So if you just want to deal with this. So yeah, for one particular question, when you're dealing with one question or one regression you're running, then you can do the same. Then you can delete it. But I would really suggest not to delete. I haven't tried deleting as such because I think recoding is a better approach because you. But yeah, you can always try deleting.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any query, guys? Okay, Krishna sir is not here, right? So shall we end the class? You can please unmute yourself and speak. Sir is not here.
Sir has mentioned in the comments that he'll be here at 3:50.
Acha, I didn't read. Okay. Meanwhile, do you guys have anything to ask? I mean, any general query? Are you working on your term papers? So Krishna sir said that you guys want a class. Is that so? Let's have a general discussion till he comes back. Hello, guys. Guys, if you can hear me, please answer. I'm asking something. I'm saying you all can unmute yourself and probably tell me if you guys want to discuss anything. Are you guys starting with? Do you guys have your term papers on the same thing or what?
Actually, we have term paper. We can do any of the data from like NFHS or NSS or World Bank. So, and we have to submit our term paper by 30th November.
Okay, so there's time, right? And
Yeah,
and
there
he
is.
tell- he told me that you guys specifically asked for an NFHS class. Is that so? I mean, I think only 5 or 6 people turned up. Or was it
Mm,
his ideas that you can have the class? How was it?
I mean, actually, he said that you can, if you want an extra data class for like NFHS or NSS, so either for the term paper or for learning purpose, you can tell sub if you want that class. So we said, okay, we since the class, I guess the course got over by like 3rd November. So we said, okay, we will have the data class for just for learning purposes, or some might be working for the NFHS data. So
Yeah, right, right. So was this helpful? I mean, were you able to understand? I mean, could you guys get a gist of how things are going to be?
yeah, we got the. In fact, I didn't know. I was searching through NFHS data. I didn't know about the Recode file. So Recode file, you got it from the DFHS, DHS.
No, no, yeah, I think when you'll download. So do you have the data with you?
No, not right now. I don't have the
I
data.
think when you'll
I have a data set. I have the data set. I have the fourth NFHS data set.
can you please repeat? There was some disturbance in your voice.
I was saying I have one data set. I have an NFHS 4 data set right now. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Actually, no. Or is it only me or she's not? Uh, Can
No,
somebody?
if Nidhi, please type the answer now. That will be better in the chat.
So, so I think she was saying something. What happened to that? Nidhi was saying something. Maybe you can write it down. And Arpit, right? Arpit, for the Recode file, I think when you have okay. So Nidhi is saying she has the dataset. Nidhi, do you have the Recode file in that? Okay, so I didn't download the dataset specifically. I got it from Krishna sir only. I think he'll share the same with you, and in that you'll definitely have the decode file. Apart from that, all these rounds for the NFHS are available on the DHS websites, and there you'll have everything: questionnaire, recode file, all the information that you need. So yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. So wait, okay. Did you attend Krishna sir's NSS class by the way, Kenneth? Right? I did. Can you not unmute yourself? You can just we can have a normal conversation.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. So about the weight. So what happens with the survey data set? Of course, the sample size. So we basically survey the sample here, be it NSS, be it NFHS, right? So what is the purpose here? That we need to get idea about the population from our sample, correct? Uh, right? You agree? Yeah. So
Yes.
this is the whole idea behind doing all these survey data sets. I mean, sampling these, conducting the survey on the national level. So, what these expert people do? So, I think DHS people only they prepare. So I told you that DHS guys they only provide the sampling design and the sampling size and everything. So, these people also prepare the weights. So there's a whole technical procedure about it. A very expert and technical person creates a variable, which is a weight variable, and this variable puts weight on each of your observation. So let's say that somebody came and interviewed me and I represent, I mean, there are say 10 people like me in the sample, in the population. So of course for 10 they'll interview one individual. So they'll give so and so weight to me, implying that I represent these 10 individuals uh, in the population. Am I clear till here?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So now I have so one observation has a corresponding weight attached to it. Okay, you just need to put that thing while you are tabulating or doing any sort of statistical analysis, even regression. So when you'll put your regression command, then again just like I did in the square bracket, you'll put AW, PW, IW. That is I think maybe Krishna sir would guide you better on these things. So that is so if you let's say if you want to calculate the average figure, then you'll use population weight or analytical weight. मतलब AW, PW, like if you could see that I used IW here. Wait, I'll show. Can you see?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this AW, there's so if you want to have the average figure, the percentages, so you'll put AW. When you want just the frequency, then you'll use FW. So this is basically telling stata, AW, FW, PW. This is basically you telling stata that you're weighing this particular tabulation or you're putting weight to the tabulation. Okay, and here you are specifying which is your weight variable, and it's done. Is it clear now?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Also, I had one more question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
So, in that question where you had divided it all with 100,
Hmm.
which,
Hmm.
so is scaling a problem?
As in, I didn't get you.
Like, so
What?
basically, you divided all of the observations by 100.
Hmm.
If you wouldn't have divided them by 100, would would it make a difference?
Of course, it will because so that is what I was saying. See, Recode file gives you the description of the data, right? So let's see that the heights. No, let's take weight. Okay, now they have entered the codes having two implied decimal places. That's what the Recode file read. So that means for an individual weighing 90 kgs, 90 is quite a big number. Let's say an individual weighing 50 kgs, the value that is there in the data is 5,000. So of course that will make a difference, right? So recode file already is, hence the recode file mentioned that all the values in the variable have two implied decimal places. It mentions in the recode, it is mentioned in the recode file, to get the original values and to get the correct values you need to divide the variable by 100. So when you will divide the variable by 100, then you will get the value or the weight, that is 50. Is that clear?
Yes, yes.
Hmm. So, guys, is there any other query, or I'll simply call Krishna sir and ask if we can just end the class? Simran, I couldn't understand what you're trying to ask. Are you talking about a research paper, or what? Acha, in a research paper? No, no. It's never in that form. I think the primary author's names comes. Oh yeah, yeah. So the name of the primary author comes first. It's never in the alphabetical order, and it never means talks about the contribution. I think it's just that there's one primary author and the rest are the secondary authors. That's it. You can see. I don't think it's anyway related to the contribution in a paper. No, it's never in the alphabetical order. By the way, it's in the same order as you sent it for to the publishing house. Sir, I think we are done here.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay, thank you, Shivani. Okay, and I hope everyone found your lecture interesting. So anyone even having any doubt relating to NFHS dataset, you are free to ask that doubt even after this lecture. So I will share Shivani contact number with you all, and whenever we have any doubt while working with the NFHS dataset, we directly mail to her and ask about that. So, so today is 10th, so next class is on 14th. But I think 14th is on Diwali, so there will be no class on that day. And also ask you about if anyone is interested learning ISDS dataset, then I will arrange a class for that also. So please let me know about that. If you want to learn, if you want to have a class on that too. Otherwise, this one is our last class. Okay. So there will not be no more class since you have to work on the term paper after this. So for that, if you have any doubt, then you can ask that, writing a mail to me or even on WhatsApp. So that's much about from my side. If anyone having any doubt, then they can share with me. So no doubt. So I'm ending this call, and okay, we have to decide the last date of term paper submission. Have I decided it?
So you said 30th November.
Okay, yeah. So let's fix that 30th November. That one is the last date, and you have to submit your term paper by turn 18. So this time I have had found some plagiarism. Okay, so try to avoid that level of plagiarism. Only 25% of plagiarism is allowed. If plagiarism exceeds this limit, then of course term paper attract penalty. So that's the thing. And also for a synopsis, I wrote a comment for some of the students. They require to discuss their term paper with me. So let this know to the class that discussion is necessary. Okay. For proceeding further. Okay, that's much I remember. About the second test feedback, so that I will start checking from tomorrow, and let me by when I will finish checking that. So as soon as I will finish checking that, I will let you know, and one day we'll meet and discuss that. Okay, so thanks for today. I'm ending this call, and Shivani, I thank you again. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.